Now, here's an interesting conversation. Concerns have been raised that artificial intelligence will cause significant harm to the world without urgent intervention by governments. Now, there are growing fears that programmers could accidentally create a superintelligence that decides to wipe out humanity. Now, education is also not spared by ChatGPT, which could allow students to easily outsource their assignments and, of course, cheat. Now, the University of KwaZulu-Natal and Wits University are introducing seminars for academics to tackle this challenge. ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot, and it's developed by OpenAI and released in November 2022. But let's discuss some of these and, of course, the pros and cons of ChatGPT. And joining us for the conversation is Abdulbaqi Badru, a technology consultant for a DVC teaching and learning portfolio at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Badru, thanks so much for your time this morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sakina. Thank you for having me, and good morning, South Africa.
Perhaps just in an effort to take everybody along on this journey and this discussion, let's just start with ChatGPT. What exactly is it and what are its capabilities?
Okay, ChatGPT is one of the artificial intelligence application which uses text generative, you could call it a text generative transformer that allows you to chat, to have conversation with the chatbot about anything, and it responds to you like you're actually speaking to a human being, behind the scene. It's so intelligent, and because of that, this has resulted in mixed reactions about the use of this application in the higher education space and in all other domains, right? But I would say it became more prominent in the higher education space because of the possibility of the violation of academic integrity, which means that students can use this chatbot to cheat. I remember when ChatGPT was released, and I think it was the 30th of November 2022, there were a lot of reaction from universities abroad where they had indicated that they banned ChatGPT from students using it on their campus. And why? It's because they feared the use. And looking at it from a point of view where ChatGPT was used to write exams, board exams, and it actually passed these board exams. So which then means that it would have its own, impact on our students, the quality of our education, because it's not even controllable. Why I said it's not controllable, if you could actually ban it from on your network, but students will still use their own personal network to have access to this. So the most important thing is, how do we control this? We have to accept this as our current reality, put in measures to ensure that we are able to detect, AI text generated essays, and that has already started happening because there's this application called Chats. You could call it ChatGPT Zero, or there's another version called Zero ChatGPT, which allows educators to detect essays that are being generated by artificial intelligence chatbot like ChatGPT. Also, Turnitin, which is one of the plagiarism applications, which has also announced that they are going to release, and I think they've even released that feature with regards to testing and detecting AI-generated text, when students submit their assignments online.
So as things stand right now, Badru, has there been any evidence locally at your university or any others that you know of locally where students have actually been using this technology to write their assignments? Has it been detected and how has it been dealt with?
Well, I would say no one would come out to say, oh, I actually used ChatGPT to write my assignment. So the conversation was between we, the technology consultants, and academics, where we had to inform the academics to be aware that this is what is possible. This is the new technology that is out there that students have access to. And these are possible ways of managing this. So I wouldn't tell you that, oh, okay, students are using it, but I am sure they are using it. But now it is now a responsibility on our own part to ensure that we are able to detect this, and then we are able to ensure that we even made it. Our conversation went to the extent where we made students be aware that we know that this exists, right? So if you use it and you are caught, then there's implication for that. It's similar to it's like a crime, but similar to plagiarism, right? So definitely, I know people would use it. People use it in the aspect of research. So there are different ways which you can use it ethically. It's like for brainstorming. So if you use it to brainstorm and then you then write out your own, assignment yourself or your text yourself, that is okay. That is acceptable. But when you copy and paste the actual content from ChatGPT into and submit it as your assignment, then that's a problem.
The question is, how will you know? And of course, and then it moves to the next question. What are higher learning institutions actually doing? Are they developing any specific sort of mechanisms to safeguard against the use of artificial intelligence when writing assignments, for example?
Yeah, well, so I had mentioned ChatGPT Zero, right, or Zero ChatGPT, which is, I say, a counter ChatGPT that detects AI-generated text, right? And which means that if you submit your assignment to me, I can easily just copy and paste the old text and put it on Zero ChatGPT. It will tell me if this text was generated by an AI application, right? And so that is one way of detecting it. And then we use Turnitin in the university here for plagiarism check. So now that Turnitin also has a artificial intelligence text detector, that definitely makes it seamlessly and easy for us to detect this text-generated assignments, AI-generated assignments, actually.
And I'm just wondering, where is it going to end? How smart are these bots going to get, and how do you countenance that?
I would say it's really uncertain, right? And it's endless because these chatbots, the way they've designed them, they are smart, they are learning based on their experience. And once you are engaging with them, you are improving their experiences, getting improved, and they will then be able to even answer questions that they were not trained on initially, because at the first instance they were pre-trained, but now they are using the access to internet resources and access to experience with other users, and they will now become more smarter. They will become more efficient. Even the results would even be, more accurate going forward, because there's the ChatGPT 4, which is even more accurate than the ChatGPT 3, which we had access to in November 2022.
So looking at that, last week we saw Geoffrey Hinton, who of course is widely regarded as the godfather of artificial intelligence. He resigned from Google, and he said that he actually regretted his work, and that chatbots could soon be more intelligent than humans. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Because there are many people who are very worried about, these bots taking over the world. How far are we from that sort of scenario? Should we be scared, or are we just, fear-mongering at this point?
I would say that it is valid to be scared because, as I've said, the possibilities are endless. It's unimaginable, I must say, because I don't know if you had seen that movie, iRobot. It seems like we are getting closer to iRobots because now the possibility of these robots being able to, to think for themselves, to reason, to do, to kind of put 1, 2 together and give you something that decisive output, right? It's scary, because going forward, it means there might definitely we've started seeing lots of jobs, right? Even in top tech organizations, because now they have the capability to develop these artificial intelligence applications that is helping them to streamline their operations, that is helping them to become more efficient and more productive. So that's one aspect of it. But I feel it is valid to be scared about it. And that's why you'd say there was a time, there was an open letter that was written by, that was signed by Elon Musk and some other top tech guys saying there needs to be a pause in the development of artificial intelligence until they've been able to establish regulations around it. Because to me, it feels like it's almost synonymous to having a nuclear weapon, right? Where you could do anything with it. So I think the same approach that they've used to manage the development and testing of nuclear weapons should also be implemented in the same space, the artificial intelligence space, where the organizations that would have access to it must be licensed, right? And then also the way you use it, the way you test it must also be controlled.
This is quite, mind-boggling, because if you think of who then do you entrust with this, because it could, that becomes a huge question. Who do you entrust with it? What sort of interventions should governments be making? Because you have governments in the world who have ministries that look at artificial intelligence, and then you have governments in the world where the ministers don't even know what the fourth industrial revolution is. And this is where we find ourselves, Badru.
Yes, I do agree, because you see, these capabilities could fall in anyone's hand. And the output or the value of this would only depend on who is actually using it. So we have the bad actors that we are all aware. We have the hackers, we have, those that would use technology for malicious reasons, right? So if you can imagine them having access to these same capabilities, which means they will be able to, to improve the rate at which they put out these phishing exercises or how to social engineer people, because this chatbot can social engineer you. When I mean social engineer, it means it can engage with you like it knows you, like it's live, because it can have access to your information on Facebook. They can have access to your information on Twitter, and then make a conversation with you like a friend or someone. So it depends on who is using it and what they're using it for.
Badru, fascinating discussion, and can't wait to see how this develops. Lots of food for thought as well. But thank you so much for your time this morning, Abdulbaqi Badru.
Thank you so much, Sakina.
Thanks so much. And keep us abreast of these developments and how you guys are faring at higher institutions, higher learning institutions. Badru is technology consultant for DVC Teaching and Learning Portfolio at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, speaking to us about the pros and the cons of ChatGPT.